Hello. Good evening. The music was so relaxing that I was just listening to it and not transitioning and not transitioning out of it. How are you today? On my side, doing good. There is this coronavirus everywhere, so let's say the operations are not that easy in Italy. I mean, everything is a bit. Slowed down. Like they start to close some schools and some events as well being cancelled and all of that. So there is a lot of attention to this problem and a lot of care to ensure that you know people are not getting in trouble with that. But all in all is good. So today I'm just waiting a few more people to join, but I'm just waiting a few more people to join. I just advertised on the usual channels. I advertised on the Unreal Engine Discord, on our Plan Shift channel, internal and external, and Facebook and Twitter. I mean, all the usual places. I'm a bit sleepy today, but this evening, I don't know, maybe the dinner was too heavy. I don't know. I'm a bit sleepy, but we will go through it. Don't worry. I think we can do some good work. Okay, so while people are joining, maybe let me introduce the theme of the day. The theme of the day is harvesting. So I was watching back into my videos list and I was trying to understand if I worked on harvesting in any way, but seems not. Seems I didn't in the past. So harvesting in plane shift is divided in different categories. In particular, you can harvest from the ground. You can harvest in certain locations. You can mine. You can dig. So there are different ways. There is no fishing. That's the only thing that is missing. But we will have that in the future for sure. So I also updated Twitch. I just sent some messages to people. So, hello. I see some people are joining now. Hello. Yeah, we are on Twitch and we are on YouTube. So, welcome to both platforms. So what I was saying is that today I want to work on harvesting. Now we have to create a new mission actually because I didn't create a mission yet. I can give you a recap of what happened on the previous mission, and let me switch to my main scene. The previous mission was sitting, and sitting is working pretty well at the moment. I'm just missing one animation, but basically it is working. So this was the mission. We completed the detection of the flat plane. We integrated with the main PS project. There is still a bit to do in this area, which basically is to connect, the sit functionality and stand up functionality to these two commands. But actually, at the moment, I did it slightly differently. So you have Z. When you press the Z key, you are actually going to sit, so or stand up. So I think it's pretty intuitive. I still have to connect this, and also what I need to do, I need to be sure that the seed is working on different character sizes. I did just a small test with an elf and with a cran. It seems to work okay, but okay. So this was the mission for sitting. Now let's create a new mission because we have to start a new mission today, which will be harvesting. Okay, I think harvesting will go through different sessions. I don't think I can do everything tonight. I think it will take time, but we can start to think together what we want to do. So the planning, is the first part. So I think the first thing we need to do, we need to analyze the old code and understand exactly how harvesting was working. It doesn't mean that I don't know it, but I'm not, let's say, a regular player, and so I don't know, let's say, all the specifics. So we will have to review and learn a bit about how it was working in the old game. So we need to review let's call it the PS Legacy harvesting capabilities, and we will have to list it here. I think we can just look at the old code, or we can just connect in game and do some tests, but basically if I remember right, in our database we have two main tables, and maybe on the wiki we can also find some if I go to PS Wiki, we can find some information on that. I think if I search like natural resources, or hunt locations, I think something will come up. No, because I think we have no. I think we have a database mapping. No, we have I remember we had a kind of a database design. Database design. And here we had the description. But for some reason it seems that it's missing the harvesting part. Okay. It's okay. I mean, we can just look at it. But I remember there are two tables. One is hunt locations, and the other is natural resources. These are the two main tables, right? That are related to harvesting. And then there are a number of commands like dig, like harvest, like yeah. So I don't know what it's doing. It's thinking. So we I'm just looking at the table, right? So the info of the table is areas to spawn items like apples or mushrooms. Okay, so that is the table that basically based on a certain location. As you can see, there is an X, Y, and Z, and there is also a sector, which is basically the map. It may spawn an item ID at a certain interval with a specific randomness. I see there is also a lock capability, which I was not aware of it. But it seems that it may also spawn locked items like a chest, which is interesting. And then we have another table which is natural resources. Natural resources is pretty similar, so it's also having an ID, a lock sector, X, Y, and Z. There is a radius, there is a visible radius, and probability of finding an item by harvesting. You see there is a description on all the field. I don't know if it's too small. I cannot make it bigger, unfortunately, but probably it's too small for you to read. But the skill level, the skill rank, the item category, the quality, the animation, blah blah blah. So I think that the difference between these two is that one is basically spawning items on the ground in a specific radius, right, that you can see and you can pick up, while natural resources is creating certain areas where you can harvest. Now, I don't know if I like this. I don't know what you think, but I don't know if I like this differentiation between the two. I mean, it makes sense to have something that spawns item and something that is kind of permanent. The problem is that if something is permanent but is not visible, how will the player find it out? You know, they have just to dig in every place in the world and to see if they find something, which could be also a way, but I think it's the way it works today. Right? So what we can check in the old code. Well, first of all, we need to see if in our cache manager we are loading this. I think we are already loading it. So let me extract from natural resources and from hunt locations. It's a bit of a pity that it's not documented on the wiki. If I Google it, do I find something? It's strange that it's not here. I was expecting it to be here. So if I Google plan shift hunt locations, no. I think is I think we never published any information about this. I think we never published any. I think we never published any. Okay, there is a guide on mining. Mining is the ability to dig various natural resources out of the land and it's physically exhausting. Okay. How to equip, so equip a rock pick, search for a mine, type dig or specifically dig iron, whatever you want to dig for. Then with the rock pick in hand, you can right click in the area and left click. Right click the area and left click the user keeper tool icon that is displayed. Pay attention to your system chat window. If the message you don't see a good place to dig, you're not able to mine spot. Be patient. Okay, you're gonna get experience points. Okay, this is a pretty decent guide. Mm. Mm. So I think this one is definitely using the natural resource table, right? Mm. Okay, so yeah, there is not really much explained, and maybe we can edit this page and add the information. What do you think? Or some of you maybe want to do it, but it could be good. So let's check. First of all, let's check if we are loading. I think we are. If I go in my PS server, I'm pretty sure. So I opened really a bunch of stuff here. 1 second. I think I need to close some of this shit. Some of the stuff is here, like this one, like this one, like this one. I think it's fine. I think it's fine. So I think if we look at the loading at the beginning, the cache manager I think is loading natural resources and hunting locations. If I search hunting, no. If I search natural, no. Okay, I was expecting it to find it. Actually, it's not. What is loading all this? Because when it's loading stuff, it should be printing it out, right? I think it's in the loaded. Yeah, like 6 ways loaded, 4 faction loaded. You see all this. I was expecting it to also print out the loading of the natural resources. Okay, so maybe we are not loading them yet. I think we are, but so let's go in Cache Manager. Cache Manager is the class that is managing, that is loading in memory most of what is in the database. And I want to see inside Cache Manager in the preload all there should be a load load quest, load attack, load word items, preload all, preload actor types, preload items, loot modifiers. Why there is no hunting location here? That's strange. Let me search hunt location in the current document. It's not here. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Why? The table is named hunt location, so we are not loading it. We are not loading it at the moment. There is an update. There is a delete. I don't see any particular it's under Spawn Manager. Okay, so it's actually loaded by Spawn Manager and not by Cache Manager. Okay, that's something I was not aware of. Okay, this I was not remembering. But you see that it's kind of loading it here. So it is commented out. That is commented out. Spawn manager. Oops. Spawn manager and location. So let me see how it was in the old code. Spawn manager should be under server, right? There it is, and here we should have spawn manager. Okay, so inside of this we should have spawn manager load hunt locations. Okay, spawn hunt location from natural list table. Yeah, for some reason here is not commented out. It is the old code, right? It is the old plane shift code, and here we have in the new one, for some reason we commented it out. Okay, so it is commented out. I don't know why. I don't know when I did it. If I did it you fix me. This one is never getting called anyway. So But basically, yeah, there is the part of the code that we have to look at and potentially fix. I don't know why it's commented out. I think I commented out because I didn't want to, mess up with the spawning of items at that time. I think it's probably like this since very long time. If I go and check spawn manager CPP, I guess is like that since forever. I think I never actually changed it. Let me check the log of spawn manager and see. Spawn manager show log. Yeah, I didn't change it in very long time. Like it's December 18. Let me see like this version, for example, which is a pretty old version. I want to see if in this version we had it commented out already. No, actually not. Actually, in this version it was not commented out. So, okay. So at a certain point, I decided to comment it out. Let me see. Here is still not commented out. Revision 350, 351. So we are here. So somewhere in the middle of this, I decided to remove it. I'm searching the place where I did it because I want to see if there was a comment on it. Yeah, here is commented out. So between 315 between April and June. So here in the middle, I have a fixed event manager to accept a spawn item and properly spawn items to the world based on ant location table. Okay, so here I was already saying that for some reason the items were spawning properly. Okay, which is good. So up to 380. Then maybe I just removed it for simplicity because I was focusing on something else. Here is where I removed it, by the way. 358. Fixed event manager to accept spawn item events. Probably spawn item into the world based on ant location table. But strangely enough, I've commented that. Does it mean that we moved it? We moved it somewhere else so that is actually spawning. Because you see there are two calls. There is this one, spawn ant location, and this one, spawn ant location from natural res. So that is what is confusing me a bit. Yeah, there are actually two different queries. One is on ant location, another one is on natural resources. So there are two separate queries, and here I'm running, the two sections. So one for the ant location and one for the natural res. And the natural res one is actually commented out. But it's not commented out in the old code. So this is what is confusing me a bit. That is what is confusing me a bit. But for sure, this part of the code is getting called. So let me check. So under under these hunt locations, right? At the moment, hunt location there is one ID only, right? In this location, and is actually spawning the item ID number 2. Item ID number 2, what is it? Is a small battle axe. Is this one? So he's spawning a small battle axe on the ground. Yeah. He's spawning a small battle axe on the ground every 15 something, which I don't know if is every 15 seconds, no, every 15 minutes, I don't know, every 15 something. There is no description, unfortunately, so we don't know every how much, but yeah, but this should be working already. So there should be a location in the game, because I think that is getting executed. So it's going here, is spawning ant locations. It's a pity that it doesn't provide at least here it is. There is log spawner log adding ant location. So if I search this in our server log, yes, there it is. But I was searching before that I couldn't find it. I was searching hunting. Okay. Crap. Okay, so you see that is doing adding ant location. I mean, don't consider the sector at the moment because it's not relevant, but he's adding it in this specific location and small battle axe. Now I'm interested to see if I pick it up. So let's go in game 1 second and see if he's already there, because this I don't remember at all. So if I go and launch the server and the client, right? We have to find that location. I don't know if the teleport command is working at the moment. I don't think so, but in this case we may need it, because I will have to teleport exactly in that spot. The problem is, how does he know that there is already one and is not spawning another one? That's the question. Because the only way will be to search through all the actors on the ground and see if there is one with that particular ID. It's a bit annoying though. If I have to do it for all the items in the world that are spawning, that is a kind of a mess. This is why I don't like too much this spawning on the ground thingy. I think is a bit weird. I mean, we used it at the beginning, long time ago for the crystal event, but was making sense at that time. So just a special event where you would go around and search crystals. Maybe some of you still remember it, but for the other normal spawning, I'm not really sure it's a great idea. Maybe it's this one. Maybe it's this one. Might be a small battle axe. Let me check my position. My position is 203,461. So 203. Where is it? 203,461. No, it's not exactly, eh? And then is minus 325,755. No, it's not. It's definitely not here. No, it's not this one on the ground. Well, we can pick them up. We can pick them up all the axes that we find, and one will respawn. But I think it would be better to. I think it's one of the one that are here in the middle of the plaza. I think there is one spawning here. Maybe it's this one. Oops. This Kirukai has a bit of an issue with the loading. So if I do, what is it? Info. Small battle axe. Position 202,968. 202,968. No, definitely is not this one as well. Maybe this one. I think the slash info command is pretty good. 204, 586. That's a bit closer. 316, 810. 316, 928. Well, it's very close to here. But it's not exactly that. And 1 and 10, 169. Really looks like this one. Can I have the ID? I mean, I can change the item and see if it changes, but to me it seems to be this item. To me it seems to be this item. I don't know why it's not exactly in that location, right? Ah, here it is. It also says that. It says spawns with interval 15 plus 10 max modifier. Okay, so yeah, it's definitely this one. It's definitely this one. Okay. So the point is, if I pick it up, right? How does he know? How does he know that I picked it up? Maybe as soon as I pick it up, it spawns. It generates an event. Yeah, I think so. I think that's the trick. That's the trick. So it's not checking if the weapon is there. It's just when I pick it up, it generates another event. They would be more. They would make way more sense. Look for nearby items to prevent rescheduling of existing items. Near list current word find entity, nearby item count. So this one is actually trying to spawn all the items excluding the one, yeah, trying to avoid items that are already scheduled in that place. PS scheduled items actually won't get destroyed in a while until someone stops representing destroy without moving. Queue it. Okay. So how the hell does it work? If I pick it up, do you think it will respawn? So I picked it up. I would be interested to know if now that I picked it up, it rescheduled something. Well, actually saying UPS item spawn event construct, so I think so. Yeah, exactly. As soon as I picked it up, it is generating a new PS item event, which we can search for. is this one, and this one, what is doing? Okay, setting parameter trigger. I think we need the trigger one, and okay, there are 3 millions. No. Spawn item event, there it is. Schedule, want to die, create item, if schedule, create item. Okay, so it's basically just creating a new item. I need to understand if it's every... Oh, here it is. You see, there is a new one spawned here. Okay, so the way it works... Can we document it a bit? Because I think the fact that it's not documented is so annoying. Can we document it a bit? Maybe under database design? I think we can edit this and add, so character table, guild tables, NPC tables. I think I would like to have another section which would be called hunt locations and natural resources, and this will be hunt locations, and we can say just hunt locations, and this will be natural resources, and this will be, I don't remember if it's the opposite or if the description is show preview. I think it's good. Yeah, it's keeping the name. He wanted to keep the name equal to the table. I don't know why. Action location table. Basically, the idea was to have this as the name, and then having hunt location table as the page, so that is, you can understand what I did. I think it makes sense. We can keep the same syntax actually. We can keep the same syntax. So how are we documenting this? We are documenting it like this. Okay, I think we can do this. So it's just a table. It's just a simple table. I think I can do this. Is there an easy way to extract it so that? But I wanted to do this, but I also wanted to. Is there an easy way to extract this or not? Now if I copy I'm thinking if there is a better way for me than doing it manually. But probably there is not. Probably I just have to do it manually. Item ID. Item ID interval int 11. I don't know. Do we want to do this, or do you think it's a waste of time? Because I wanted to, document it a bit, just to max random sector. Because I wanted to understand a bit better how this thing was working, and if I don't understand it well, range, log string, log strength, log skill. It's not too long, it doesn't take me much. And flags. Now we just need to change all the. So max random is int 11. Sector is just int 10. Amount is an int 10 as well. Oh, the factor is unsigned, who cares? Range is a double like this one. And log strength is int 5. And the other one is an int 2. And the last one is a varchar 200. Okay, and the rest of the table is not needed. Okay, so at least it looks correct. Now, what I would like to describe a bit here is the meaning of this. So, I don't think we have any description in the database, which is a bit weird. But so X, Y, and Z is just okay. It's pretty intuitive, but anyways, the coordinates on the map. Okay, so the item ID is the item to spawn. So this one is just the coordinate on the map. The item ID is the item to spawn taken from item stats table, right? Because it's taking it from the item stats. The interval, I think the interval is in seconds because it took very, very little. So is I think it is the time to respawn a new item in seconds. Max random, I have no idea what is it. I think it's a random amount of seconds. Like in our table, what we had? We had 10, we had 15 and 10. So I think that 10 is added on top of the 15 in terms of number of seconds that he has to spawn the new item. Let me see. Interval max random new PS scheduled item. PS scheduled item interval max random. So okay. How is using then max random? No idea. Is it using this max random in any way? Change intervals, new random, max random. Okay, that's fine. Make interval. Yeah, he's taking interval plus the random of this one. Yes, and so this make interval should be the one. Make interval is used only here. Okay. No one is using it. I think someone should be using it. There is a UPS spawn event item, which is not used for some reason. Here it is. Item make interval delay ticks. UPS spawn item. Yeah, so basically is the interval plus the max random range. I think it's in seconds. I mean, I'm not 100% sure, but it looks like it's in second. So if I pick it up, a new weapon should respawn between 10 seconds and 15 seconds in this area. Now the question is if it respawns on top of me, what will happen? But there it is. Right. So it's actually working. It's actually working. Is the problem is that he has a fixed location, and the fixed location is really so-so. And it's something that we may want to solve. Random time between 0 and given value added on top of interval, added to interval value. Okay, the sector is the sector. The amount, what do you mean? I mean, you can have an amount. I don't know if the amount is the stack or the number of items that are inside the area. The problem is that if it's the number of items that is inside the area, that becomes a bit weird, because if I pick up one, how does it know that I picked up only one? So let me see if I can understand this. Amount. How is this amount used? All schedules are counted for. Handle spawn count. If handle spawn count equal to amount, break. Otherwise, it goes back. Now, it seems that it's scheduling a number of items. Is it only the initial one, or I think it's only the initial one. We can try to change it to 2 and see what happens. Yeah, let's do this. I think it's easier, instead of just trying to. So if the problem is this item saved in the database or not? Or he knows there is a transient item and so he's not saving it. I think this item is not saved in the database. That's my take. So let's try to change the quantity, I don't know, to 5 or to 3 or to something. Let's do amount 3. Okay. Apply. Range 200, so it's in 2 meters range all around. Okay, so it's not a very big range, but I have the lock strength and the lock skill set here, like if the item could be locked, which is a bit weird. Let me try to launch it again. So I want to understand how it works. So the amount, I think is only the amount of the initial items. I think if I pick it up, but when I pick it up, every item is creating another spawn event. So in reality, yes, it's the initial, but also the one that will stay, because so yeah, you see there are three axes now. So if every time I pick up one, I would generate a new spawn event item. Okay, that's fine. It will be interesting to know what happens if the weapon is trying to spawn on top of me, because I think it may happen. So now between 10 seconds and 20 seconds, one respawn here, another respawn here, and another respawn here. Okay. Is it really random or? Yeah, I think it's really random. So yeah, so basically is the number of items in the location, and the item every time you pick up an item. Okay, that's kind of good. So I would say number of items to spawn in the area, right? The range is the radius in centimeters. I think it's centimeters here. I don't know if it's centimeters also in the old version, but I think so. Log strength and log skill. I think we have a description of those two. We have it in the database. It's saying log strength to be generated. It's not copying the description. Fuck. The only thing I wanted to copy. The only thing I wanted to copy. Well, I can, if I do alter table, I think it should be in the description. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so we have at least this. Now, what I would like to do, I would like to also explain a bit of this table is loaded by um, spawn manager load and location. I just would like to mention it here, so it stays, as an information, and I think it's good, so we know who is loading this table and why. So basically, okay. So I think I understand. I understand how this works. So it's loaded by ant locations. At server startup, we spawn into the world. We spawn into the world one item for each. No, one item. An amount of items for each line. In the range of an amount of item ID for each line in the given radius, in the given range. Okay. When one of these items is picked up, we generate a spawn event. We generate what? We generate a UPS spawn event. A UPS spawn event. We generate a UPS spawn event which will create a new item after interval plus random of max random. Okay, I think it's pretty clear now. Okay, so that is what location is doing. Now, it's a bit stupid because he actually has a fixed location. Is it randomizing the Z as well, or is it randomizing only the X and Y? To me, it looks like it's randomizing only the X and Y, so that the Z is not randomized. We can check it. Schedule create item. Yeah, is randomizing only the X and Y. So the vertical is not randomized. Now there is a bit of an issue though, because it means that if the terrain is I was discussing this with Davide today or yesterday, whenever it was. So the problem is that if the location, I mean, if the terrain is not flat, but it's like a height map, some item will spawn underground, which is not really great. So the best would be to line trace down, find a collision point, and spawn the item there. Now, one of the issue is if you want to spawn at the pivot or in the middle, right? Right. Well, we can take the sides of the item. Can we take the sides of the bounding box sides and move it up by half of it and spawn it on the ground? Because in this way, it will be sitting on the ground, which I think is better. Another thing we can do is to just ragdoll it. I mean, to put physics into it. The problem is that this means that the weapon will actually fall to the ground. Because if you think about it, it's a bit stupid the way this axe looks, Okay, let's assume that it's properly positioned on the ground, but still it will be standing up, So no axe stands up like this by itself. You just fall down to a random position. So or we add physics and we make it so that the weapon is like falling to the ground properly. The problem is that if you are on a slope, then that thing will just fall down forever. So which is not what we want, I guess. Well, the axe is a bit of a stupid example because it's not. I mean, it's not an item we are gonna spawn, right? We're not gonna spawn an axe to the ground. But yeah, that is how it works today. This is how it works today for ant locations. I think it's pretty clear to me now how it works. Actually, today is not randomizing Today the coordinates only x and y coordinates are randomized. The vertical axis stays, the vertical coordinate stays as specified in the database entry. So this should be changed, let's say. This should be changed. You know, to collide on the ground. Yeah. So this should be changed. But for now, let's say this is how it works. So it's pretty clear to me. So I started from the mission, then I started already to execute the mission, but it was just because I didn't have review hunt locations and review natural resources. Okay, so I think hunt location we understood it well, right? I think we understood how it works. It's fairly simple. It's generating something on the ground. I don't know if you really want to do it this way, because I'm still thinking if this is the right way, you know, to just randomly spawn stuff on the ground that people can find. I don't really like it, you know. So I don't know. I mean, you can spawn something on a tree, right? So if you have a tree, like this, and you want to spawn, if you have a tree like, unfortunately we have only gray trees for whatever reason. But if you have a tree like this, and you want to spawn some apples, some fruits on it, then it would be okay, because it will have, you know, a fixed position, a random position in the area of this tree, and you will find an apple and pick it up. I think in that case makes a lot of sense. If you want to spawn like mushrooms on the ground, I think it would make also sense. So I think yes, for items like apples, mushrooms, I mean kind of small stuff, I think it makes some sense. The problem is that we will have to do it everywhere on the map, you know, is what is scaring me a bit. So in terms of performance, you know, if you have a large world, you have like thousands of spawns, so it's creating new actors every, but I think it's okay. I think it's what the game should do. Yeah. Okay, so ant location understood. Now let's try to understand the other one, the natural resources. Okay, so I'm trying to understand that one. Database design, natural resources. Okay, so for this one also we have to create a table similar to the one that we created before. I think it's pretty similar to let's take this one, because I think it's pretty similar, right? Should be. Okay, so the table is made of what? The table is made of wow, this one is much more complex somehow. I don't know why, but it's much more complex. So there is an ID, which is an int 10 for some reason. Some tables have int 8, others will have int 10. Everyone has whatever he wants, but anyway. There is a sector. Right, which I can copy and move up here. So there is a sector which it is called log sector ID. Yeah, in fact it was this was the right name, I guess. which is an int 10. At least we are consistent with between our code and our code. So loc x, loc z. So we have x, y, and z. These are float 10 2. Okay. Then we have a radius, which here was the range actually. So we can take, I think, this range, move it up. So x, y, z. Oops, what did I do? Yeah, I did it correct. Okay. This is called radius, not range, for some reason. There is also double. Then there is a visible range, which was not there before. So there is a visible radius. Visible radius, which is also a double 10 2. Then we have a probability. This one also was not there. So we'll call it probability. There is a float 10 6. What the hell? Okay. Then we have a skill level. I think we can take no, the skill level is different than this two. Okay, we can take this two. Okay, I can take this two. So we have after probability, we have skill and skill level. Skill and skill level. And one is a small int 4. We are very creative with the database design. Huh? Small int 4. And skill level is an int 3 unsigned. I don't know really why. All these different things. Then we have item category ID. Item cat ID. Okay, there is an int 8 for whatever reason. And then we have an item quality, which I guess I can copy from this one. Then we have an item quality, and the item quality is a float 10 6. I think we should change them all. The problem is that converting the old database, is not a great idea. So then we have an animation. Interesting. Animation, what is it? Is a varchar 30. Is a varchar 30. Then we have animation duration in seconds. No idea what is this. Animation duration in seconds. Then we have an item ID reward. I think that is our item ID actually. Item ID reward. There is the item that you get out of the. Okay. Int 10. This was also int 10. Int 10. And you have the item reward. Then you have reward nickname. This one is the one that you use when you are harvesting, which I think is a bad idea anyway. It's bad design, but we will see. And then we have an action, which I have no idea what is it, which is a varchar 45 for some reason. Then we have an amount, which I guess is the resulting amount, which is an int 10 signed, int 10. I will fix all the descriptions later, okay? So at the moment I'm just copying the. Then we have an interval and we have a max random. Interval, which is an int 11 for some reason, and a max random. And a max, which I guess is the same function of before. The max random is also an int 11. Okay, let's try to change all the descriptions, because actually in this one we have all the description, which is nice. So if I do again alter table, I think I'm getting, apart from x, y, and z, okay, no, sorry, it's not ant location, is natural res. So if I do alter table and I go here, x chord of center. Okay, I think I can put this, no problem. X chord of center, y chord of center, z chord of center. Okay. Then we have radius of the resource in centimeters. I have no idea. I think so. Then there is a visible radius. Allow harvesting but with no results. What does it mean? No idea. Probability, chance of finding an item by harvesting. Okay, this description is clear enough. Then we have skill ID used to harvest. Okay, so this is the skill you need to have to actually harvest that resource, which makes sense. Skill rank required. Okay, this also makes sense. Item category ID. Item category required for this is already not understandable to me. Item category required for harvesting. You mean the tool? I think it is the tool. Yeah, I think it is the tool. Item quality, we don't know. There is a question mark even in our database, so no one knows. Animation played while harvesting. Okay, so this is interesting. Animation duration in seconds. Okay, so is the animation in seconds. Then we have item reward ID. Item provided to the player when successfully harvesting. Okay. Reward nickname. There is the name. What is it? The name of the item given as using commands and maps. Okay, so I think that is when you do like /dig iron is the action. The action is command init to harvest. Dig harvest fish. Okay. The amount. The amount. If not null, items will be spawned as ant locations. Okay. So that's the point. And interval is the amount if not null milliseconds interval for spawning item when picked up. Okay. And max random, maximum random modifier. Okay, so this is the same one as the previous one, which is added on top. Okay, let me save this. Okay, now, so we have our nice table. And we have it documented at least somewhere. So now the documentation exists. I hope I didn't do something that was already there, but it seems I hope not. Because I searched for natural resources. Let me see if I search for natural resources now. If I find something. So. Because it's actually natural resource table. Where table is attached to the name. I don't know if it's a great idea. Because all our pages were done like this. The problem is that this way you can really search it. It's a bit stupid. Okay. Okay, so we did this, which is nice. So we have our table. Now we need to understand how it works. Okay. Well, I think it's it's very simple. The point is it already working in game or not? That I have no idea. Let me try to do /dig and see what happens. The command is not recognized. No, I think that the command is recognized but not ported yet. Okay, I think that /dig has not been ported yet. If I do /harvest, the command is recognized but not ported yet. Okay, so I think that here we have a missing piece. The question is, when I load my natural resources, what is actually happening? Am I spawning like an actor or something, or natural res? So in this query, natural resources, we are actually not spawning it. So respawning it like the other ones. Okay, that I understand. But then how do we use this? Ah, this one is inside Work Manager. Work Manager initialize. So actually, our Work Manager is keeping track of our resources. So it's actually putting it into kind of an array. I don't know what is this thing, but come on, you can do it. Yes, it's a T array of natural resource. List all the natural resources in the game. Okay, I understand. So actually, natural resources is loaded by Work Manager. So while the other one was loaded by, so this table is loaded by Work Manager initialize and keeps all the locations in memory, right? So this is what it's doing. Now, now I think that when you issue a command like a dig command or something, it's gonna search if your location is included in this one, right? So every time you dig, it's doing this shit. He's doing the check of all the locations in the world and trying to see if you are inside that location. Okay. I mean, again, I don't know if this is the way I want it to work in the future, but for now we are just trying to understand how it works, okay, and to get a point of view on how we want that to work, okay. By the way, people, hello. I see someone is watching. Hi. So, yeah, we just want to understand how this is working. So let me see if in the database we have anything for natural resources. Well, actually, yes. The problem is that those are old locations. So this location will never work in the new map, right? So there is something we need to do to map these locations to the new locations. And gold, coal, silver, tin, platinum, and gold, and whatever. Action dig. Okay, amount, interval, max random. Okay. Item reward 85, 103, and so on. Okay, good. Skill level, skill and skill level, item category 6. Okay, so I think we need to move one of these locations. We need to move. Okay, so let's search a place that looks like somewhere where you can dig. I think this place is perfect, right? For some reason, I'm not going down. I don't know why. That place looked perfect, but it's not a place where I can dig. But let's use this one anyway, even if for some reason my character flies in here. I think it's a good place. I like it. So let me find my position. How far we are from the shop? We're pretty close. Yeah, it's okay. I think this place is okay. So my position is 206, 685. So let's move. So 206, 685. Right. My X location, my Y location is minus 313847, minus 313847, and my Z, can you do it? Yeah. And my Z is 10594. 10594. Okay. Radius 40 is very small. 40 centimeters only. Let's do 100. 100 and 120 and see what happens. Okay, so 1 meter, 1 meter and a half. Probability 0.99. Skill. Okay, the rest let's keep it all as it is. So this entry now should be loaded, I guess, by our server. Now the problem is that our dig command is not really working at the moment. It was saying that it's been recognized but not ported. I don't know exactly what it means, but I think that I feel that dig does not exist. Something happened. Hello? I search for dig and just digging into the code. Can you find it? Ah, here it is. Dig. No, it is a different place. It is when NPCs are trying to dig, because our NPC can also dig, which is interesting. Is that the only two places? I don't believe it. There must be another place. No? I guess the answer is no. Okay. So dig is probably loaded at runtime. Let me search this not ported yet. Okay. User manager dummy to be done. This command is recognized but not ported yet. User manager dummy to be done. What is this thing? I think I remember I did this for all the commands that I couldn't port. Come on, it's impossible that it's only here. Why is saying I think the search is not working at the moment? What is going on? This function is for sure called by my code 100%. So why cannot find it? Why is finding it only here? Okay. I mean, this function is called for sure by my code. I don't know what is going on in Visual Studio. Let me close it a second and reopen it because I think it's getting stupid. Something is Because I remember I did when I ported all the commands. I think I added that dummy to be done for all the ones that I didn't want to remove, but I couldn't yet port. Okay, let me try to search again for this thing. Now he finds it. You see, I just closed the Visual Studio, opened it again, and it started to work. Interesting. Okay, anyway, it's fine. It's absolutely fine. Just 1 second, I need to reboot. I need to reboot my other PC, not this one, eh? Don't worry. But I need to reboot my other PC because it's asking for an update, and I think I want to do it. I think I want to do that so that it does the update while I'm working on something else. One now. Let me see if we can do it. Okay. So what I wanted to do. Yes. We were checking this dummy to be done. Okay. So in one of those, there should be our command, but I don't see it. Maybe it's handle work. It could be handle work. Maybe this one is generic enough, you know. Handle. I think it's handle work because inside work manager, combine dig. Here it is. Dig goes into handle work. Okay, nice. So we find out, and also fish, dig, harvest. They are all going into handle work. Okay. Okay, so handle work at the moment, unfortunately, is not implemented. Which is a bit annoying. Which means that we are missing completely this part. Yeah. Okay. So I think we can check in the old code. So we have some code to port, boys. So let me just update the mission because so review ant location, review natural resources. So review how they work in the old system. I think that this is what we are doing, but also I want to test it in the game, you know. So test ant locations and then test natural resources. And then we need to understand if we want to do it this way. So let's say that at the moment we did only this. We did this one, right? Well, we did this one and we did this one. And now we are working on natural resources, trying to understand how this is. So handle work. Okay, let's check this handle work. These were originally in source client command user CPP. Check PS user command and the command. Okay, perfect. It's good that I placed that command so we know what to search for. Okay, it's under client. Why is under client? Okay, is a client. Those are client commands. Okay, fine. There it is. So this is the old code. PS user command under command. So what this thing is doing? Show window, show hide. Show hide the window. Set size. Study. There were some that were directly are coded here. Interesting. Right, rotate, cell. Is there a dig? What I need to see if there is a dig in this current document. Yes, there is actually a dig. All of this: use, combine, uncombine, construct, dig, fish, harvest, and repair, which I guess are all the ones that I mapped to handle work. I hope so. So combine, construct, yes. Dig, fish, harvest, repair. There is also uncombine, which I don't see. There it is, uncombine. Okay, yeah. These are all the ones that I mapped. So they are all properly mapped to handle work. So I think we are good. We are good. So in the old code, this was going to work command message, and then send message. Okay. So work command message, I hope, is then catched by the server side work manager. Should be. Yes. In fact, is handle work command. Okay, so handle work command is our guy. So at the moment, we don't have anything on this. Okay, handle work command. So let me say in our work manager if there is a handle work command. Yeah, actually it's here. Okay. Well, actually it is here, so we ported it somehow. The point is that handle work command. Handle work command. Command message me. Command message. So yeah, I expanded this. Okay, I expanded this to that one. Okay, so this has 3 parameters. Command filter, I guess. Command filter and repair slot name. Okay, repair slot name. Okay, so these are the three thingy. Now, how do I change it so that it makes sense? There should be an intermediate parsing of this, though, no? Work command message. There should be an intermediate parsing of this. PS work commands. Um, what the hell? Okay, I'm trying to understand what is this syntax. It doesn't really explain much, but it seems that if you are using use, combine, and construct, you basically have no other parameters. If you have repair, it seems that you need to have the first parameter as the slot name. And then this is really, I don't understand what is this. If filter equal to words of one, this is just doing something like dig for gold instead of dig gold. Okay. That's interesting. I think it's fine. So we need to call. The problem is that this has to be done before calling this, right? Before calling this handle work command. So we actually need to do something here. So handle work command. I don't understand exactly if in command I'm getting the full line or not, but I think so. Like for example, if I'm in handle cast, I think it's exactly the same for all of this. So handle cast, we are just parsing into an array. You must specify spell name. Okay. Yeah. So I think what we can do, just to do it simpler, I'm not sure if the command is including also the slash cast or the slash dig. Probably not. Probably these are only the parameters after the command itself. But we can test it. We can test it easily. So basically, I think we can change our user manager handle work. I think this handle work, can call our work manager, And do we want to do it here, or do we want to do it? I think we can do it here. So I think we can do this. We can do this, and inside user manager we can implement our handle work. I don't know where to put it. I mean, any place I guess is good. I think any place. I think here is good. So what I want to do, I want to have my handle work, which at this point is taking yes, the client and my command, right? And is inside user manager, and I think I would like to do the parsing of the string in here. So I take this part of the code, right? I don't know what is this valid. This valid I don't think we need, but this part of the old code, I think the valid we can remove, and then we can use the same technique as we were. Let me put a bookmark here and remove the other bookmarks. Okay, and like similarly to what I do in handlecast. So I'm basically parsing the array, parsing this. Yes, basically parsing this, and yes, I'm parsing the command that is coming in. Then I have no idea what this thing is doing. Yes, it's just taking the first word without the slash, right? So it's doing words 0 slice. I think we have a conversion of this. I think it's just the left of 1, but so yeah, right chop of 1. No, I don't remember. What I was doing here? I think I was adding harvesting somewhere. I wanted to add the roadmap to add harvesting somewhere, and then I didn't do it. But I wanted to add harvesting into the roadmap because I think we need it. Books, maps. Where should we put it? Maybe under books is okay. Let me read the page. It's not UI. Yeah, I think in this area is okay. We can have after books. I think we can have a new section which is called harvesting. Like /dig/harvest, and this at the moment is missing, and I would like to have my gear here because it's something that I want to do as soon as possible. Okay, let me save this. Okay, so at least we have this listed. Yeah, the next item, I think the next one I would like to work on is this one, the lock and unlock. But let's go into this harvesting thing. So I was what I was saying, yes, that I wanted to check the slice. So slice of 5 is a right chop of 5. Okay. So I think I can do a right chop of 1. Right? So which will basically just remove the first character at the left. is, I think, return the string to the right of the specified location can be forward from the left. Yeah, exactly. So this will extract our command. Now, if our command is equal to use or combine or construct, then we have to call our work manager. Our work manager, which for sure exists. I don't know why it's not showing up. Come on. Okay, work manager. And in work manager, we want to call handle work command. Handle work commands. Okay. And handle work command is taking few parameters. Come on, can you give me the thing? Okay, so is the command itself, the filter, the repair slot name, and the client. So the command, I think, will be one second, because work manager is then work manager doing the check if you have but he's doing this here as well. Yeah, it's a bit of a duplication of parsing actually, this shit, but okay. So we will pass in only the commands, and the other will be optional, right? I think we should put all of this optional. Or I can just pass it empty. I can pass it empty, it's okay. So filter will be empty, repair slot name will be empty, and client will be client. Okay. So in case we are using those three, we do that. In case we are in repair mode, then we have a new f string which will be repair slot name, which will be words of 1, yes. And here we will call, yeah, by the way, after doing this, we can return. And so here will be the same, with the difference that the command we can pass through, the filter will be empty, but the repair slot name will be specified. Okay. And now here we will have our filter, which is just checking if the filter is 4 and if the filter is worth of 2. Okay, nice. And then here we do the same. Just with the command filter, and this will be empty. Okay, so having done this, I think we are in the same situation. In the same situation of the old code. Hello, Abdin. Welcome. Thanks for joining. So I think we are in the same setup of the old code, right? Now, this will go through handle work command. This will go through handle work command. Now, if you don't specify anything, I think that if you are messing up with the parameters, I think this guy will do the job, right? So combine, repair, construct, and then there is this handle production. Handle production is where I think we do the work. So okay, let me try to recompile like this and see if when I do /dig, if we are actually going into this part of the code. Okay, which I think we are. Okay, another PC meanwhile properly restarted. They did a kind of a Windows update of some kind. Okay, it's compiling, it's recompiling. So what we want to do, so maybe we can change the, so actually we find out that ant locations were already ported. We find out that natural resources were not ported. So so we have to port. So here we have, you know, a new task, which okay, maybe let me do it differently. Let me do it differently. I think we can say that we reviewed, you know, how those things works, and I think it's okay. Then we tested ant locations, and it seems to work okay. So we tested the spawning, and we tested the respawning. So we tested spawn. We tested spawn at startup, and then we tested spawn after pickup. Okay, and these two actually worked okay, which is surprisingly good. So these two are already working, so I would say we can say that those two are done. Now what we are doing is to port, because we find out that it is not done. So to port handle work, right? For that is for natural resources. Oops. For natural resources. Okay, so we are working on this. Now we need to decide if this is really the way we want to do it, because I'm still not fully convinced that I want to do it this way. I'm really not fully convinced. By the way, is the stream working okay? Because I see sometimes people going and coming and going. I mean, is the stream working okay with good frame rate and everything? It seems so, because you are here and I'm here. Okay, good. So, okay, compiled fine. So maybe let's launch the server in debug mode. So, and maybe we can put a breakpoint somewhere here to see if this part of the code is actually doing what it's supposed to do. Okay, because I'm not fully sure that it will. Okay, starting up. And now we have one location, which is the one that we have identified, right? Which what he has? He has gold. In theory, in this location, there is gold to mine. Okay, the server is up in debug mode. Okay, so we are here. We are here. We are in the location, so we are exactly in the middle of the location where we should be able to dig. Now, let's try to say slash dig gold and see what happens. Okay, so the command that is coming in is slash dig gold, which is good. We are parsing this into an array, which is good, and we are taking the right chop of the first part, which is dig. Perfect. We are going here, we are going here, we are filtering for 4, we don't find 4, but we go inside handle work command. Okay, for now, everything has been good. So we go inside of this and we search for this should not happen, not happen, not happen. Exactly. Now I go here and I'm searching resource actions num. Yes, I'm searching for a resource which is dig, which is nice, and I find it. So the result is actually the result is 0. Why? This is not working because the result is 0. Find, what is this resource action? Resource action is an array of string, right? Is an array of string which is one as dig. So I'm doing a find. The find is tarray find is what we want to do or not. Oops. Tarray find. Tarray find is searching, find an element within the array. Yeah, exactly. Returns index of the because it's at element 0. Yeah, so he found it. I thought that 0 was the wrong result, but actually 0 is the right result because it's an array. It starts from 0, and so yeah. So it's good. So in fact is not, I think it's -1 if he doesn't find it. So he found at least one resource in our world that he can dig, and so is going through handle production. Now I don't know why we are not filtering it already, but it's fine. So let's go inside of this and see what happens. So here we are inside handle production, and right. Make sure the client isn't already busy digging. Okay, it's checking the player mode, and the player mode is good in this case. Need to have work stamina. Okay, so it's checking if we have enough stamina to do the work, and actually we have, which is nice. Make sure they are not in the same location as the last production. Skip this check for NPC. Because I don't understand too much, but I think we are not allowing players to dig always in the same place, so they have to move a bit, otherwise they will not find anything. Hello Blase, hey, welcome. Welcome to the stream. So, we are working on harvesting, and I'm going through the code to see if everything is working or not. We had to port a piece of code because it was not ported yet from the old game, and now we are testing if that piece of code is working okay. So make sure they're not in the same location. Okay, that I think is fine. I think it's probably storing some position. I mean, it should skip this check anyway. Let's see. Yes, it skips it, so which is nice. Search for another resource at the current player location. Okay, so this is what it should actually do the job. So is searching, find nearest resource. I think we need to debug this because it's taking the position. It's taking the type. Type is 0. I don't know why, but type 0. I don't know where this type was coming from. Size T type. Yeah, it's the one that I found in my resource location. In my resource section. Okay, it's fine. So let's go through this. So it's extracting my position and then it's going inside find nearest resource. Okay. So what it's trying to do now is to see if in the location where I am there are actually resources that I can harvest or not, right? And considering I'm sitting exactly on top of it, the answer is yes, but let's see if the code works. So sector ID, I default to number 3. I don't know if this is a good idea or not, but I think that I have all my resources in sector number 3. Yeah, exactly. So in the database, all the resources are in sector number 3. So I think that should be fine. I lost you. You are saying, recently I was thinking of game I used to play, wanted to try out again. I thought of Plane Shift. So excited to see that the game is still a thing. Created my first account in August 2009. Nice. I only played it for a few months. Yes. Well, if you go to my plane, your character should still be there. And yeah, we didn't delete it, I guess. So it should still be there. The first thing you should do is to go to my plane and plane shift my plane and check if you can log in into my plane. Okay, is planeshift.tmx.org my plane, but you can just search my plane and plane shift and you will find it. And so you put your username and password and see if you can log in here, and you can search, or you can just search the name of your character. If you remember the name of your character, you can search it. But if you log in, for sure you will see it. And logging into this will also update your password in case your login is very, very, very old. If your login is very, very old, which is before we did the security update, you have to log in through my plane first because it's upgrading your account. Okay, so and after you log in here, then you can go in game. But if you have any issue, ask me. We can sort it out. We are not deleting accounts since very long time. So 2009. I think your account is still there. The problem will be for you to remember which email you were using. Okay, so find nearest resource. So okay, we are here. So it's debugging, is logging this. So it's logging something like finding nearest resource for gold. Yes, which is correct. Now it's going through all the resources. We actually have six resources in the database, and is trying to find, well, is checking if the sector is equal to my sector. Now this is okay. Current action equal to action, reward is empty. I don't know what this is doing, but I hope it's okay. So it's checking if my reward nickname is equal to my reward. Actually, it's the first line. So yes, then it's checking the distance between the current location and my position. Okay. Which, by the way, should be exactly in the same spot. Yes, we are in the same spot. So it's checking the distance between me and the location declared in the database, which I think is good. In this case, it finds a distance of 1 centimeter, and the reason is that I didn't input the decimals in the database, which I think is fine. And the resource if this is less than radius. The visible radius is 120, so definitely we are within the range, which is good. And so at this point it's pushing into this array this new natural resource, okay, which is nice. So it's pushing this. So he found it, and now it's going through all the others, but all the others will be skipped because they are not next to us, right? Actually, it seems that he went through another one, but the distance was too much. So in case he doesn't find any resources, he's just sending a message to the player. In this case, he found one, which is pretty good. He's trying to sort. He's sorting by what? Because sorting here is not really a good idea. I mean, it's not, probably is not working as expected. How we can sort this? He's trying to sort the array. Sort the array assuming the operator is defined for the item type. Well, maybe it is. Wow, we have it. We have the declaration of the operator on the near natural resource, so we ported also the operator comparison. Wow! We are bosses, bro. We are bosses. That's very good. So that's already working. So when I did the porting, I did a already pretty good job, by the way. Huh? I ported a lot of the code and I ported it in a meaningful way. So I'm pat myself on the shoulder, you know. Good job, bro. Good job. So near resource. Okay, so basically here we found one, right? So it's printing out this string, which is found resource goal, distance 1, probability 0.99, level 50. So this actually didn't do the full job yet. It just found if there is a near resource, right? And he actually found it, which is very nice. So he's putting into this array the fact that we found a source of gold. Now, if there is no resource found, is sending the message to the client, which is okay. Now, here is validating my skill. Now, the problem is that I think that my character has 0 mining skill at the moment. So this may fail, or it may give me a low probability of success. Let's see what it's doing. So it's validating the skill. If still is 0, it can still be trained. It's not possible to execute. It can still be trained. It's not. Why? If skill equals 0 and can still be trained. It's not supposed to execute the operation. Check all the resources, check if one validates. As the resource, remove the array. If the array ends up empty, it means we don't have a resource to attend because of our skill. Okay, that's a big comment. Good job. So we are going through this. I don't know exactly what it is doing, but it's basically comparing my skill to freaking something else. And if we ended up with an empty array, it means that we don't have the skill to do any of this. Okay. I guess this is where we are going. No? No. There is still a resource. Okay, nice. Validate the category of the equipped item. Okay, so this is probably where we are gonna fail. Check all the resources, even validate the resources, blah blah blah. Okay, so it's checking for the resource array. So it's searching in my right hand. Well, I don't have anything in my right hand. It's searching in my right hand and is checking if I have an item. Now, unfortunately, this one will be empty. And so I think it will fail. So, and it will search if the item is in the proper category ID. Now, category ID 6, I have no idea what is it, but we can go and search it. Item categories. Category 6 is actually mining tools. Okay, that's nice. So I think if we get in our right hand a mining tool, if we get a mining tool, so I'm just closing a bit of the windows because we have so many open. So if we search an item which has item category 6, I think item category is here somewhere. Category ID is this one. There it is. There is one which is this line, right? Which is what? Which is a rock pick. Okay, so if we put a rock pick in our right hand, this check will go through, right? Now, unfortunately, it's not going through. So, if the right hand is empty, it's trying the left hand. So if we ended up in an empty array, it means that we don't have, yeah, so here we have no resource. So it will say you don't have a good tool. You need to have a tool to keep to your hand. But anyway, I think it's going through this. We can see if we just force it after, what happens. But now it's empty, so this will fail. No, I cannot do it. Then it will calculate the animation, send the animation confirmation message to the client nearby people. So here we will have to send the animation for the mining. Okay. Then event manager multi-character. Okay. Then set character mode work. So it's setting the fact that the character is working. And set stamina generation work. Okay, it's doing all of that stuff. Queue up event for success. So it is queuing up work event. I think this thing is already working. I think it will work. Set trade work event manager push. Wake me up when digging is done. If actor you start to dig. Okay. I think this piece of the code, this part of the code is actually working, boys. So what we can do, yeah, that's my bad. I should have not done that. But I think it's kind of working. So my suggestion is, let's restart the server, still in debug mode, which I think is still useful. Let's spawn a rock pick in our right hand and let's try to mine. and see what happens. Now the animation will not be played at the moment. So we need to put in our mission, where is our mission? We need to put in our mission the send animation to client. Because this one actually we don't have yet, so we have to do it. Now I don't know if this part of the code is good enough or not, but it's relatively simple. So is basically skipping a list of vectors and is comparing my position to that list of vector based on the material that they hold. So I think even if it's on the entire world, I don't see it as an issue. I think it's nearly instant, to do that comparison. It's basically doing some very simple mathematical operations. Very simple mathematical operations. The only problem will be, the only problem is the management of the array, because actually every time that you issue a /dig, is putting into the array /dig gold is putting into the array all the locations where gold is, and yeah, I think if we could have a concept of sector being the map where you are in, I think it would be much easier. I think it would solve a lot of the issue that we have, but I'm not sure I can do it now, but maybe we can do it one day. Okay, so here we are. So we are in the location where we know there is gold. So I want to issue /dig gold. Now, as soon as I do it, we will go in debug mode, but I think we can just let it run and see what, let me disable breakpoints, maybe it's simpler. Let me disable all breakpoints. So we will just let it go. It should give me the message that I don't have the rock pick. Okay. You don't have a good tool to dig. Okay, perfect. So let's generate a new item, a rock pick. I spawned a rock pick in my inventory, so I have a rock pick now. Which I don't know where is it, because unfortunately the icons are a bit so. Okay, it's this one. So I will put it in my right hand. Rock pick doesn't fit in that slot. Why? So it seems that the item rock pick, for whatever reason, is not fitting into the hand. Rock pick, bulk, right hand. What do you mean is not fitting? There is a weird comma here, which I don't know if I really like. Why there is this comma instead of space? I don't know if there is a mistake in the database, in this dummy database, but in theory it should work. You see that he has bulk, comma, space, right hand, and maybe is mixing up, is messing up something. Let me see if there is any other item that has category 6. It was category ID. Select from place name where everybody slot like right hand. No, I don't want to do this. Where category ID equal to 6. Yeah, there is a lot of stuff that is in the there is this hammer, for example. This hammer is bulk left hand, right hand. So let's try to spawn a hammer. Item hammer. Okay, I have a hammer in my inventory now somewhere. No, here. Okay, so if I move this to my right hand, hammer does not fit into that slot. Why? Why? Oh, I think. Yeah, that's the problem of the doll window that you're going through. But maybe because I have two. Okay, let me put one. Okay, because I had two. They were two. I had two in my hand. A rock pick, I only have one, but a rock pick doesn't fit really. I have to check why it's saying that it doesn't fit. Okay, let's try now that we have. Let's try slash dig gold. Now that we have a hammer, you don't see a good place. You don't see a good place to dig. It's saying that I don't see a good place to dig, but I don't know if it's because of the skill required, because there are some skill requirements in the natural resource table. I think we said skill level 50, you know, and skill 37. So I have 0 and 0 of this shit. So that's probably why is not allowing me to. But let's try to also understand why the rock pick is not working. Rock pick does not fit in that slot. So I'm trying to check. So I'm trying to get why character inventory check slot requirement item proposed. So let me debug this, because I want to understand if really the rock pick was not properly loaded. So it's checking slot requirements, and it's checking in this item. Let me check if this item has location decay, crafted quality charges, center ID, flags. Well, yes, flags, but I think it's valid slots, right? Valid slots. No, where is it? Creative style, item schedule, open on legs, modifiers, base stats. I think it's inside base stats. And should be valid slot. Here it is. Valid slots 1. Valid slot is only 1 for some reason. Fitting slot. Proposed slot 0. Get valid slots 1 slot plus 1 different than 0. Get valid slots. What is doing? Current stats valid slots. Yeah. Which at the moment is 1. I think we have a problem here. I think we have a problem because the valid slots are not loaded properly. I don't know if it's just an error in the database. It can be. Row value slot find comma parse into array else parse into array. Yeah, he's trying to, yeah, so basically both syntaxes seems to be working okay, but maybe the fact that I have a space is not trimming the string. Yeah, I think the problem is only the trim. Can parse into array trim it or not? Seems not. I think I have to do the trim myself. Because at the moment, I think the only issue that we have is that there is this bulk comma space. And the bulk comma space is the one that is messing up. Bulk comma space right hand, you see? I think that is what is messing up the ability to put it in the left hand or the right hand. So I think we need to, when we are doing this thing, parse into array for size lot num current slot. I think here I need to trim it. Can I trim both sides? Is trim doing what is the difference between trim and trim start and end? Remove white spaces character from the start and the end of the string. Unlike trim, this function returns a copy and does not mutate the string. I don't care. I mean, it can change the thingy. So I think I can just add a trim here, and I think that everything will work. That's my idea. Because I don't want to change the database, because I prefer to have it, you know. What the hell is this? What? Slot trim, string trim, right? String trim. Why is going into these crazy places? Um, Trim removes white spaces character from the front of the string. Call trim start to return a copy of the string with white spaces trimmed from the start, or start in line to modify string end line. Oh, sure. Deprecated. Okay. Fine. I think we have to use this trim start and end. Okay. It took me a bit, but at the end, this is what we should use, I guess. I guess. Okay, it compiled. So maybe we should just for fun, 1 second, debug it here and see if this stream start and end is doing something, and if our rock pick is actually getting the proper values. But I think it will. I think it was just a small mistake. I think it's a mistake in the dummy database, but I prefer to fix it in the code than fix it in the database, because so the code now is smarter and it can work also in the case where there is these spaces. And okay, so here we are loading the thing. Here we are loading. What are we loading? So, what are we loading here? Fields, name, ID. What the hell is this? No idea. Row valid slots. Row. My row. Why I cannot? It's not very easy to debug this result row. So, but we can just check it here. So left hand, right hand. Okay, I think we can. We can item stats. Can we know the ID of this thing? ID. Let me see if there is an ID. No. This UID. Okay, we are loading now UID 1, right? Which is the fist. Okay, so we need to reach item stat 84. Wow, 84 is a lot. Okay, anyway. UID 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 15, 16. Okay, it's going through quick, but we need to reach 84. We are at 41, 42, 44, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 56, 50, something. 150? What the fuck? We skipped it? Why 150? Maybe they are not ordered. Yes, they are not ordered. Okay, go. 59, 60, 64, 65, 67. So we are about here. I just want to reach my rock pick and say, so we are at 77 now. My rock pick was what? 84? Okay. 78, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84. It did 90. Okay, because it's the next one. 84. Rock pick. Okay, so we can see now if the value slots are loaded properly. Let me see if it's parsing into the array properly now. Yes, now it's working okay. It's doing bulk in right hand. Right hand has the space at the beginning, but when we go through this, it should remove the space. So it will add bulk, as you can see. And then as the second one, it will add right hand. Okay, perfect. So it's working. Okay, nice. So we did a good fix. Let's launch this. So I let it run. And now we can reconnect with my client and test if we have if we can dig with the rock pick. First, if we can put the rock pick in our right hand, but I guess the answer will be yes. And second, if we can use the rock pick to dig in that particular location. Okay, so we are here. I have my rock pick. Let me just remove this. As you can see now, I can put the rock pick in my right hand, so that fix worked okay. So now I need to do a slash dig gold and see if something happens. You don't see a good place to dig. I don't know exactly why it is happening, but could be for the skill, because this location has a skill of 50. Let me see if it is really the case. So if you go in work manager, where was that? Was inside end of production? Yeah, I think it was inside end of production, right? Stamina, resource, skill, category of the keep. I think this one we will skip. I think we should reach this place at least. Let me see if we reach this place or not. Probably not. Probably we stop before this. Let me see if we arrive kind of here. Yes, we arrive here. So search for blah blah blah. No resource found. Find nearest resource. Why I didn't find? You don't see a good place. Return me. You don't see a good place. Maybe because it's the same place I was digging a second ago. Because, like we said, I need to be in another place. Okay, let's see. No, unfortunately not. There is something else going on. So this set is coming out empty. Strange, because before it was working. Now what happened now? What happened now? Okay, let's go again through the natural resource. Okay, so find nearest resource. So we go inside of this, and he's searching for all the resources. He has 6 resources listed. He's searching for the first one. The first one has action, has reward gold, and so is okay. It's doing a diff of my location, and the size of my location is 165. Because it's too much. It's too far. I'm too far from the center. What do you mean? I moved like 1.5 meters. Yeah, it could be. I mean, I can make it a bit bigger. I can make it like 3 meters or 4 meters or 10 meters. I moved too much, and so I'm out of the range. So here I should be in range. No, again it's not. Again is not good. You don't see a good place to dig. Boys, why is this? Find nearest resource. Okay. Find nearest resource. Now I'm on top of it, right? So it should. 184? What do you mean 184? I mean, it was here. 184? Fuck. Bro, why is so far? I mean, I think it was here. I think I can make it like 5 meters and that's it. But now I want to find it. Where is it? Now I want to find it. You start to dig. It worked. It was here. It was a bit more in the middle. I don't know. You start to dig. So, okay. So we actually dig something. You giving 25 experience point and 1 practice point to skill 37 with modifier. Blah 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 blah. You gain 25 experience point, and I got some gold. Where is my gold? Gold ore, there it is. Gold ore. Ah, yes, I have it. Quality 210 out of 210. Weight 10, size 1. Pretty cool. So it kind of worked. So if I do again dig gold, let me remove this breakpoint. I think it will say that you cannot dig twice in the same place. Okay, so it seems to be working okay, by the way. You start to dig. Now we just need to play the animation, but nice. Hey, it works, boys. It's working. It's working. So yeah, so it's good. I think that if we go to our mission, I think that we did this. We did this. We need to do. We definitely need to send the work animation to the client. So it has to be done, right? It has to be done. Then the other thing that has to be done is to. Well, I will have to put a. I will have to do all the graphical part, you know. So I need this thing to be. Let me just take a picture of this so we remember the place. So the good news is that it's working okay. So the code is already working exactly as it was in the old plan shift. We are not sending the animation. We should send the animation and potentially also sound. We should probably disable movement so that you cannot really dig. I mean, you can move while digging, but that should be fine as well. Yeah. So I think we need to send work animation, add mining sound or whatever it is. You know, it can be mining, it cannot be mining depending on the add mining sound, and that's it. So it is working okay. Now we need to think if we want it this way, because at the moment you are basically digging in a location where there is nothing. You know, there is no. So one idea will be to spawn a rock for the mineral. So wouldn't be a bit nicer, you know, to spawn a kind of a rock here in the place where, or a series of rocks in the place where you know there is a mining. I don't know. We have to think about it, but the fact that you have to search for places completely random in the map. I mean, it's good and bad. It's a kind of a mini game in the game, but I don't know if it's really what I want. Okay, with that said, I think I will go. It's already midnight. I think it was a good session. We understood a lot of stuff. We updated the wiki. We managed to port that piece of code in allowing harvesting to work properly. So not bad. We should check in what we did. And in particular, we have changed, yes, item stats, user manager, and that's it. So we have ported harvest commands, work, dig, harvest, commands, and we have fixed valid slots bug on loading of item stats. It is what we did. Yeah. I think it's good. Okay, boys, I think I'm gonna go. Thank you for watching. Remember that if you are new to the stream, please follow on Twitch and subscribe on YouTube. And if you want to support the game, you can go to Patreon/PlaneShift, and you can become a Patreon, support us, every month, and with that you get some perks. You get access to our Discord channel for supporters. You get a tag in Discord that is showing you as a supporter, and then you are also allowed to view some of all the videos, or some of the videos depending on the tier, but anyway, the videos that we make to keep you updated on the game, and the videos are kind of a summary of what I'm doing. So it's handy to see the video and not watch all the other stream. Thank you. Anyway, you can also support just by watching the streams and commenting on the videos and things like that. Thank you. See you next time. Bye bye.